She taught Socrates how to get in touch with the divine. She knows about divination. She made sacrifices before the Athenian population and was able to hold back the plague for 10 years, sacrifices. So if she then, through this dialogue, exhibits all of these qualities, then she can stand as the personification of love, can't she? If she has those qualities par excellence, then she can become a symbol. Or, if Socrates can show in himself those very qualities in the dialogue, then there's evidence within the dialogue that he can then deserve to be called the spiritual man, the symbol of these arts, and therefore the personification of them. Now, once you have this model, we can now say, how did love ever get here? I mean, what is the origin of love? And therefore, you see, this is where mythology, the mythology of poverty, plenty, and love fits in to explain that one fact. So the mythology serves the purpose of fitting into this model, and this model itself, therefore, should be able to detail for us, right, the dynamics of love on its highest level, what it opens up, and therefore we have a standard by virtue of which we can use. We can use this as a standard to see whether or not there's anyone in history, present or past or future, who might be characterized as being able to function with these. If so, we have a way of understanding in what model they can fit. Ah. Now, there's an interesting thing that we have in this work, and that is philosophy is the love of wisdom. Now, one of the great tragedies in the modern world is this great name, philosophy, has been used to cover a whole wide range of people who have nothing to do with philosophy whatsoever. They should really be called philodoxes, right? The love of opinions, because that's all they got is opinions. Because in this sense, let's see if we can do it now. If there was a way to bring us to this experience, then one would then be able to talk about the very nature of being, because they've experienced it, because that is ultimate reality. Since it's only known through the mind and the mind only, therefore the person who is to experience it must learn how to use that aspect, that part of the mind only, which is capable of seeing the nature of reality. When it's experienced, it is experienced as pure beauty. And in that experience of beauty, one discovers that the very nature of reality is no different than the purest beauty, and sees it as no different than mind itself. And therefore, in that experience, one recognizes that one is part and parcel of a reality that is nothing other than mind, and in its most intrinsic level is pure beauty. Ah, happiness. Now, if you know how to get there, if you know how to get there, if you know the steps, if you know how to get there, if you can talk about it from that experience, right? If you can communicate that experience to others, if you can then show how it plays an integral role in this game of philosophy, that is called wisdom. That's what he calls wisdom. What is wisdom then? If someone is able to pull off this great vision of the nature of ultimate reality and see into the nature of reality, sees that as the most brilliant light of being, sometimes called the great luminosity or numinosity, one discovers the nature of reality is divine, pure beauty, perceived as mind only, no different than mind itself. When one sees that, that awakens in the person a great love for that most beautiful thing necessarily. Therefore, the person who experiences it awakens a love for that beauty, and therefore it must follow that the person who has experienced it must be a lover, philo, have a love of wisdom. That's philosophy. Now, how do you get it? What do you have to go through? He has 4 stages, 3 processes. Ignorance, right opinion, understanding, knowledge or wisdom. This is the way he describes it. Now, we must use only his language, not our own. We must never use our language in trying to understand a metaphysician. We have to use their language. Well, you see, ignorance is to right opinion, 2 dots, is to, as understanding is to knowledge or wisdom. There is a process that goes from one to the other. There's a process that goes from right opinion to understanding. There's a process that goes from understanding to wisdom. Therefore, there are 3 cognitive states, 3 processes between them. Oh, okay. Now, ignorance is defined as that set of beliefs a person may possess, what's ever in your head, let's use it that way, everything in your mind, whatever it is it sufficient to get you to reach the truth about the nature of reality? What's the truth about the nature of reality? This is the truth about the nature of reality. If you can't do it with that, then you can't hit the truth with what you have, and therefore you are ignorant. No matter how many things you may know, no matter how many languages and degrees you have, it has nothing at all to do with intellectualism. Right? If your views, if the total set of your views cannot reach and cannot lead you to this kind of an experience, then you are ignorant. Now, if by talking about it and introducing it, you then gain a set of ideas, then you have opinions about it. But you don't know that those opinions are right and why they are right. That is to say, you don't know the reasons why the right opinions are right. Once you understand the reasons why your opinions are right, you have understanding. If you know how to use your right reasons involved in this study that can lead you to this insight into the nature of reality, then that's wisdom. Therefore, there are 3 processes, 4 stages. Well, you have to think of it this way. If you're traveling